Greenland. The name conjures images of towering icebergs, shimmering glaciers, and a vast, untouched wilderness. This Arctic island, the largest in the world, captivates with its stark beauty. Its frozen landscapes and icy waters seem a world away from the hustle and bustle of human life. Yet even in this remote corner of the globe, a silent threat lurks beneath the surface. Greenland's pristine environment faces a growing challenge: microplastic pollution. These tiny particles, less than 5 millimeters in size, are often invisible to the naked eye. They originate from various sources, from the breakdown of larger plastic debris to microbeads found in cosmetics. Carried by ocean currents and winds, microplastics have infiltrated even the most remote ecosystems, including the Arctic. The presence of microplastics in Greenland's waters is a stark reminder of the far-reaching consequences of human activity. Despite its distance from major urban centers and industrial areas, Greenland is not immune to the global plastic pollution crisis. The accumulation of microplastics in the Arctic poses significant risks to marine life and ecosystems, impacting the delicate balance of this fragile environment. Microplastics are often referred to as the invisible enemy for a reason. Their tiny size makes them difficult to detect with the naked eye, and their pervasive presence in the environment can go unnoticed by the casual observer. However, the impacts of microplastic pollution are far from invisible. These tiny particles can be ingested by a wide range of marine organisms, from microscopic plankton to large whales. As they accumulate in the food web, microplastics can lead to starvation, physical harm, and even death in marine animals. The chemicals associated with microplastics can also disrupt endocrine systems, affecting growth, reproduction, and overall health. The Arctic region, including Greenland, is particularly vulnerable to the impacts of microplastic pollution. The cold temperatures and slow rate of decomposition mean that plastics persist in the environment for longer periods. Additionally, the unique characteristics of Arctic food webs make them more susceptible to the bioaccumulation of microplastics, posing risks to both marine life and human health. The increasing presence of microplastics in Greenland's waters is a cause for concern, requiring urgent action to address this growing environmental threat. Scientists and researchers are working tirelessly to understand the full extent of the problem and develop innovative solutions to mitigate the impacts of microplastic pollution in this vital ecosystem. The journey of microplastics to the Arctic is a testament to the global reach of pollution. Originating from diverse sources, discarded plastic bottles, synthetic clothing fibers, even tire dust, these tiny particles embark on an epic voyage, carried by winds and ocean currents. Their final destination? The pristine waters of the Arctic, a seemingly untouched wilderness thousands of miles from their origin. These minuscule travelers bypass geographical boundaries, hitching rides on the flow of major currents like the Gulf Stream. They endure long journeys, often taking years to reach their Arctic destination. Along the way, they fragment into even smaller pieces, becoming increasingly difficult to track and remove. Upon reaching the Arctic, these microplastics encounter a unique set of conditions. The frigid temperatures slow down the process of degradation, causing them to persist in the environment for decades, even centuries. The Arctic Ocean, with its unique currents and ice formations, acts as a sink, trapping these pollutants within its icy grip. This accumulation of microplastics in the Arctic has far-reaching consequences, not only for the region's delicate ecosystem, but for the entire planet. Understanding their journey and the factors that contribute to their concentration in this remote region is crucial in the fight against global plastic pollution. The pristine waters of the Arctic, teeming with life, are now a feeding ground for microplastics. Marine organisms from microscopic zooplankton to massive whales are ingesting these tiny particles, mistaking them for food. This case of mistaken identity has dire consequences, disrupting the delicate balance of the Arctic food web. Zooplankton, the foundation of the Arctic food chain, are particularly vulnerable. These tiny creatures graze on algae and other microscopic organisms, inadvertently consuming microplastics along the way. As larger animals feed on zooplankton, these microplastics move up the food chain, accumulating in higher concentrations at each trophic level. the ingestion of microplastics poses a significant threat to marine life. These particles can cause physical harm, blocking digestive tracts and leading to starvation. The chemicals associated with plastics can leach into the tissues of animals, disrupting endocrine systems and impacting growth, reproduction, and overall health. The bioaccumulation of microplastics in the Arctic food web is a growing concern, not only for the well-being of marine life, but also for human health. As top predators, like seals and polar bears, consume prey contaminated with microplastics, these particles can find their way into traditional food sources, posing potential risks to indigenous communities who rely on the Arctic ecosystem for sustenance. The legacy of plastic pollution, once considered a distant threat to the pristine Arctic, is now a stark reality. The accumulation of microplastics in this fragile ecosystem threatens not only the health of marine life, but also the cultural heritage and way of life of indigenous communities who have thrived in this region for millennia. For generations, Inuit communities have relied on the bounty of the Arctic Ocean for their sustenance and cultural identity. The health of marine mammals, fish, and seabirds is intricately linked to their own well-being. The increasing presence of microplastics in their traditional food sources raises concerns about food security and the potential health risks associated with consuming contaminated animals. Beyond the immediate threat to food security, microplastic pollution also impacts the cultural practices and traditions deeply rooted in the Arctic environment. The accumulation of plastic debris on once pristine beaches detracts from the natural beauty of the landscape and interferes with traditional hunting and fishing practices. The fight against microplastic pollution in the Arctic is not just an environmental imperative. It is a matter of cultural preservation. Protecting the health of the Arctic ecosystem is essential for safeguarding the legacy of indigenous communities and ensuring the sustainable future of this unique and vital region. In the heart of Greenland, a dedicated team of scientists is on the front lines of the battle against microplastic pollution. Driven by a shared passion for the Arctic and a deep understanding of the environmental threats it faces, these researchers are working tirelessly to unravel the mysteries of microplastics and their impact on this fragile ecosystem. Armed with cutting-edge technology and a thirst for knowledge, these modern-day explorers embark on expeditions to some of the most remote corners of the Arctic. They brave harsh weather conditions, navigating icy waters and treacherous terrain to collect vital data that will shape our understanding of this global issue. Their work involves meticulous sampling of seawater, ice cores, and marine organisms. Using advanced techniques like spectroscopy and microscopy, they identify and quantify microplastics, painstakingly analyzing their size, shape, color, and chemical composition. Each sample tells a story, providing valuable clues about the sources, pathways, and long-term fate of these pollutants in the Arctic environment. These scientists are not just data collectors, they are storytellers using their findings to raise awareness about the invisible threat of microplastic pollution and inspire action to protect this pristine environment. Their work is crucial in informing policy decisions, guiding conservation efforts, and ultimately safeguarding the future of the Arctic for generations to come. The study of microplastics in the Arctic presents unique challenges. Their tiny size makes them difficult to detect and quantify, requiring specialized equipment and meticulous laboratory techniques. Scientists are constantly innovating, developing new methods to improve the accuracy and efficiency of microplastic detection and analysis. One promising approach involves the use of Raman spectroscopy, a non-destructive technique that uses laser light to identify the chemical composition of materials. By analyzing the unique spectral fingerprint of microplastics, scientists can distinguish them from natural particles and determine their origin. Another important aspect of microplastic research is understanding their distribution and abundance in different environmental compartments. Scientists are investigating how microplastics are transported by ocean currents, winds, and ice, and how they accumulate in sediments, water columns, and marine organisms. By piecing together this complex puzzle, scientists are gaining a clearer picture of the scale and scope of microplastic pollution in the Arctic. Their findings are essential for developing effective mitigation strategies and protecting this vulnerable ecosystem from further harm. The data emerging from microplastic research in Greenland paints a sobering picture. Microplastics have been found in all corners of the Arctic environment, from the surface waters to the deep sea floor, from the air we breathe to the ice that defines this region. Their presence is a stark reminder of the pervasive nature of plastic pollution. Studies have shown that microplastic concentrations in the Arctic are comparable to, and in some cases even higher than, those found in more populated regions. This highlights the role of ocean currents and atmospheric transport in carrying these pollutants to the far reaches of the globe. The types of microplastics found in the Arctic vary, reflecting their diverse sources. Commonly detected polymers include polyethylene, used in plastic bags and packaging, polypropylene, found in bottle caps and textiles, and polystyrene, used in food containers and insulation. The data also reveals the potential impacts of microplastics on Arctic marine life. Studies have documented the ingestion of microplastics by a wide range of species, from microscopic zooplankton to large marine mammals. The long-term consequences of this ingestion are still being investigated, but concerns remain about the potential for physical harm, starvation, and toxic effects. The fight against microplastic pollution in Greenland is not one of despair, but of resilience and innovation. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, scientists and engineers are joining forces to develop and implement cutting-edge solutions, aiming to turn the tide on this environmental challenge. One promising avenue of innovation lies in advanced filtration systems. These systems, deployed at various points in the water cycle, can capture microplastics before they reach the ocean. From wastewater treatment plants to industrial discharge points, these filters act as guardians, preventing the further release of these pollutants into the environment. Another area of focus is the development of biodegradable alternatives to conventional plastics. Scientists are exploring the potential of bioplastics, derived from renewable resources such as cornstarch or algae, which break down naturally in the environment, reducing the accumulation of persistent plastic waste. Innovation is not limited to technological advancements. Behavioral changes and policy interventions play a crucial role in reducing plastic consumption and improving waste management practices. Public awareness campaigns, educational programs, and legislation aimed at single-use plastics are essential tools in this fight. The fight against microplastic pollution in Greenland is not an isolated battle. It is a global call to action that transcends geographical boundaries and unites individuals, communities, and nations in a shared purpose. International cooperation is crucial for addressing the transboundary nature of plastic pollution. Harmonized regulations, shared research findings, and collaborative initiatives are essential for tackling this global challenge effectively. The role of industry is paramount in finding sustainable solutions. By investing in research and development, adopting circular economy principles, and reducing their reliance on virgin plastics, businesses can become agents of change, transforming their practices to minimize their environmental footprint. Consumers also have a critical role to play. By making conscious choices, reducing their consumption of single-use plastics, and supporting businesses committed to sustainability, individuals can collectively drive demand for change and contribute to a global solution. Despite the challenges posed by microplastic pollution, there is hope on the horizon. The growing awareness of this issue, coupled with scientific advancements and collaborative efforts, is paving the way for a cleaner and healthier future for Greenland and the planet. The research being conducted in Greenland is not only advancing our understanding of the problem, but also inspiring innovative solutions that can be applied globally. The data collected is informing policy decisions, guiding conservation efforts, and raising awareness among stakeholders. The commitment and passion of the scientists, engineers, policymakers, and individuals working tirelessly to combat this issue offer a beacon of hope. Their dedication serves as a reminder that even in the face of daunting challenges, collective action and unwavering determination can create a positive impact. The fight against microplastic pollution is a marathon, not a sprint. It requires sustained effort, continued innovation, and unwavering commitment from all sectors of society. By working together, we can protect the pristine beauty of Greenland, safeguard the health of our oceans, and preserve our planet for generations to come. The icy landscapes of Greenland, often perceived as distant and isolated, stand as a poignant symbol of our interconnected world. The battle against microplastic pollution in this pristine environment is not merely a regional concern. It is a shared responsibility that transcends geographical boundaries and unites us in a common purpose. The scientists working tirelessly on the front lines of this issue are not just researchers, they are guardians of a shared future. Their unwavering commitment to understanding and mitigating the impacts of microplastic pollution stems from a deep understanding that the health of our planet is inextricably linked to our own well-being. The data they collect, the solutions they develop, and the knowledge they share have global implications. Their work highlights the interconnectedness of ecosystems, demonstrating how pollutants generated in one part of the world can travel vast distances, impacting even the most remote and pristine environments. The fight against microplastic pollution is a testament to the power of collaboration. It requires a coordinated global effort involving scientists, policymakers, industry leaders, and individuals working together to address this shared challenge and create a more sustainable future for all. Beyond the scientific data and technological innovations, the battle against microplastic pollution in Greenland is driven by a profound moral imperative. It is a call to action rooted in the understanding that we have a responsibility to protect our planet, not just for ourselves, but for future generations. The pristine environment of Greenland, with its awe-inspiring glaciers, majestic icebergs, and diverse wildlife, serves as a poignant reminder of the natural heritage we are at risk of losing. The presence of microplastics in this once pristine ecosystem is a stark indication of the far-reaching consequences of human actions. The Inuit communities who have called this region home for centuries have a deep spiritual connection to the land and sea. Their traditional knowledge and sustainable practices offer valuable lessons in environmental stewardship that can guide us towards a more harmonious relationship with our planet. The fight against microplastic pollution is ultimately a fight for justice, environmental justice, social justice, and intergenerational justice. It is a moral obligation to ensure that future generations inherit a healthy planet free from the burden of our pollution. The story of Greenland's battle against microplastic pollution is not just a scientific endeavor, it is a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the human spirit. It is a story of individuals driven by a shared passion for the environment, working tirelessly to overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. From the researchers braving harsh conditions to collect vital data, to the engineers developing innovative solutions, the individuals involved in this fight demonstrate remarkable dedication and unwavering hope. They remind us that even in the face of adversity, human ingenuity and determination can pave the way for a brighter future. Their stories inspire us to look beyond the daunting statistics and recognize the power of individual and collective action. Every effort, no matter how small, contributes to a larger movement for change. By making conscious choices in our daily lives, supporting sustainable practices, and advocating for policy changes, we can all play a part in turning the tide against microplastic pollution. The fight against microplastic pollution in Greenland is a beacon of hope, reminding us that even in the face of global challenges, the human spirit, driven by a shared purpose and unwavering determination, can create a ripple effect of positive change that extends far beyond the icy shores of this Arctic nation. Greenland, the icy giant of the north, stands as a stark reminder of the global reach of human impact. The presence of microplastics in its pristine waters, a consequence of our insatiable appetite for plastic, is a stark warning that we can no longer ignore. The very environment that has captivated explorers and scientists for centuries is now sending out a silent cry for help. The delicate balance of this fragile ecosystem, home to unique marine life and a source of sustenance for indigenous communities, is threatened by these minuscule invaders. The consequences of inaction are dire, not just for Greenland, but for the entire planet. The Arctic, often perceived as a remote and isolated region, is intricately connected to the global climate system. The melting of Greenland's ice sheet, accelerated by climate change, is already contributing to rising sea levels, impacting coastal communities worldwide. The accumulation of microplastics in this region further compounds the environmental challenges, jeopardizing the health of marine life and potentially disrupting the delicate balance of our planet's climate system. Greenland's cry for help is a wake-up call, urging us to confront the consequences of our actions and embrace a more sustainable path forward. It is a call to recognize that environmental protection is not a luxury, but a necessity, essential for the well-being of present and future generations. The fight against microplastic pollution may seem daunting, a global challenge that can feel overwhelming at times. Yet within this challenge lies an opportunity, a chance for each of us to make a difference. The power of one, often underestimated, can be a potent force for change when multiplied by millions of individuals committed to a common goal. Awareness is the first step. By educating ourselves and others about the sources, impacts, and solutions to microplastic pollution, we can spark conversations, challenge the status quo, and inspire action. From sharing information on social media to engaging in community dialogues, every voice raised adds to a growing chorus demanding change. Individual choices matter. By reducing our reliance on single-use plastics, opting for reusable alternatives, and supporting businesses committed to sustainability, we can shift consumer demand and influence industry practices. Each conscious decision, no matter how small, sends a powerful message that we are no longer willing to accept the status quo. Beyond individual actions, we must hold our leaders accountable. By advocating for stronger environmental policies, supporting legislation aimed at reducing plastic production, and improving waste management, we can create systemic change that extends beyond individual efforts. Envisioning a future free from microplastic pollution is not a utopian dream, but a tangible goal within our reach. It requires a fundamental shift in our relationship with plastic, from a linear economy of take, make, dispose to a circular economy that prioritizes reuse, recycling, and responsible production. Innovation is key to unlocking this transformation. Scientists and engineers are already developing promising solutions, from advanced filtration systems that capture microplastics at their source to biodegradable alternatives that break down naturally in the environment, reducing our reliance on conventional plastics. Investment in research and development, coupled with government incentives and public-private partnerships, can accelerate the development and deployment of these solutions, creating a market for sustainable alternatives and phasing out our dependence on environmentally harmful plastics. Education is crucial to empowering future generations to make informed choices. By integrating environmental literacy into school curricula, promoting STEM education, and fostering a sense of stewardship for our planet, we can equip young people with the knowledge and skills they need to be agents of change. The battle against microplastic pollution in Greenland is a microcosm of a global challenge that demands a collective response. It is a reminder that we are all interconnected, sharing one planet and a responsibility to protect it for current and future generations. The solutions we seek will not emerge from isolated efforts, but from collaboration, innovation, and a shared commitment to a common goal. By working together, sharing knowledge, and supporting each other's endeavors, we can overcome this challenge and create a healthier, more sustainable future for all. Let Greenland's story serve as a catalyst for action, a reminder that the choices we make today will shape the world we leave behind. Let us choose to be the generation that turns the tide against plastic pollution, leaving a legacy of environmental stewardship and a planet where future generations can thrive. The time for action is now. Let us answer Greenland's cry for help with a resounding commitment to protect our planet together.